Welcome back to MLB Tonight. We got this tweet here from Gary Phillips covering the Yankees and Major League Baseball for New York Daily News. The Yankees and Tim Hill reportedly have mutual interests in a reunion. Tim Hill, who was DFA'd by the Chicago White Sox back in June, ends up landing with the New York Yankees, getting huge outs in the postseason and the World Series. He's got a great story, and you root for a guy like Tim Hill. Alongside Alex Avila, I'm Robert Flores. So, as you can see on our beautiful floor here, stay put or hit the road. We're going to take a look at a few free agents, and Alex is going to tell you whether they should stay with the team that they ended 2024 with,
put me on the spot.
Should they hit the road. Let's start with Tyler O'Neill. Should he stay in Boston, or should he hit the road and really test the free agent market?
Well, I think he's going to test it, but I think out of all the guys that we're looking at and the free agents that are out there, he's more likely, at least if I was him, to stay put.
Tailor-made for that ball.
Yeah, I mean, big right-handed power hitter, plays the outfield, like you said, tailor-made for that ballpark. I mean, he seems to fit the Red Sox and what they're trying to do. Obviously, the Red Sox, too, may look at different options, too, because he does have a history of being a little streaky and injury-prone.
Yeah.
But to me, when I look at Tyler O'Neill, I think he's made for that ballpark. You know, he's shown like he has that 30-homer potential, obviously, with 31 home runs last year. So I would say stay put.
And if he stays put, the team bench press average immediately
goes up.
Goes up.
Absolutely.
Because he's throwing around some serious weight. Willy Adames, he's a free agent, ended his season with the Milwaukee Brewers, got some big hits for a team that was really good, surprised a lot of people in 2024. He figures to be a coveted asset for a team. Should he stay in Milwaukee or hit the road?
No, I think he's hitting the road. I think the writing's been on the wall with Adames for a little while with the Brewers.
Yeah.
I mean, even Pat Murphy has said this, like, you know, it seems unlikely that he'll be back, but there's going to be a lot of teams that are going to be after him because he is just a good, solid shortstop, good hitter, good power-hitting shortstop. So there's a lot of things to like about Willy Adames' game. I mean, this is pretty telling right here as far as the shortstops go in the big leagues, and he's been about as steady a performer, not only defensively but offensively. So the teams that are looking for a shortstop, you know, are going to be in on him. I know he's talked about, like, hey, if I'm willing to move to second base if somebody needs that as well. But I think there's going to be enough need there for a shortstop, and he's a good enough shortstop, you know, well above average on both sides of the ball to land a nice contract playing shortstop for somebody.
Let's talk about another middle infielder, and that, of course, is Gleyber Torres. Ended last season with the New York Yankees. His walk year started out very poorly, but when they moved him to the leadoff spot, he seemed to take off, and he gets a lot of criticism. But one thing that Gleyber does is he posts. He plays nearly every day. He's got a lot of durability. Should he stay put, or should he hit the road?
I think he probably hits the road, mainly just because I think the Yankees are going to want to look to see what else is out there and a way to improve their ball club. They have Jazz on the roster already, who is a natural second baseman, so they have an in-house replacement if they want to look at third base as a possible way to improve that team. But hey, I mean, like you said, when they moved Gleyber to the leadoff spot, obviously hitting in front of Soto and Aaron Judge, you're going to get some pitches to hit, and he took advantage of that for sure. But Gleyber's been a good player for the Yankees, but I think they're going to probably hit the road here on Gleyber.
Our final player, Teoscar Hernandez of the Los Angeles Dodgers. He meant so much to this team in their World Series run. Does he stay put, or do you think he hits the road?
I think it makes sense for him to stay put. Obviously, he had a tremendous year for them. We just did an interview with Teoscar, and how great was that? I mean, he's a tremendous guy in the clubhouse. You know, really good outfielder, good power-hitting right-hander. So I think it just makes sense for him to stay put. He loves it in L.A. They obviously love him. So I'm sure it'll just come down to exactly how the Dodgers want to put together their roster. If he ends up, you know, being a fit as far as their future plans are to constructing a roster. So But I think it makes a lot of sense for him to stay on both sides.
He did get the qualifying offer from the Los Angeles Dodgers. He won't sign it, but that is something to think about. All right, one bonus player here, his teammate.
I love bonuses.
Yeah, everyone does. Jack Flaherty, should he stay put or should he single me up, Lisa? Hit the road, Jack. What do you think, Alex? I'm sorry. It's Brianna's fault. It's producer Brianna. She thought she was being funny by putting Jack Flaherty. Where do you think? Do you stay put or does he hit the road?
Oh man, I think he hits the road. I think he tests free agency. He did the one-year thing. Obviously, the Tigers brought him on a one-year deal. He was able to make good on that one-year contract. Pitched really well. Kind of found that slider again. And that swing and miss stuff. So I think he ends up getting a nice deal from somebody that is looking for pitching, a good number 2, number 3 type starter.
You take a look at his numbers here. I think of all the group of players that we just discussed, was it just one player that we said should stay put, and that's Tyler O'Neill?
Yeah, I mean, usually when you have the opportunity, or like Flaherty, you take a chance on a one-year deal to try to reestablish that market for yourself. At that point, you're gonna make sure you capitalize on that opportunity.
All right, we still got a whole lot more quality content here to go on this edition of MLB Tonight. Well, I don't know about quality.
I like the...
we do have content because up next...
Let's talk about where the Dodgers are right now. Yes, they have ordered their World Series rings. Yes, they have decisions to make as it relates to who's healthy, who's not, and how we're going to fill holes on the roster. And then this. At about midnight on Friday night, the Chiba Marines in Japan, in Nippon Baseball, announced they're putting Roki Sasaki. They're going to post him. He will become an unrestricted free agent at age 24. He will negotiate over a 45-day window to come here to play Major League Baseball next season. And that opens the door for teams to go chase him. Now, his is a different situation. A year ago this time, Yash Yamamoto became a posted free agent. The Dodgers won the bidding war to get him out of Japan. He got a $300 million package. Dodgers had to pay his team, the Oryx Blue Wave, $50 million in a transfer fee to get him. That was because he was a vested veteran who had pitched. This guy is under 25. This guy has not reached the 6-year limit. This guy can only come here with the permission of his team, Chiba Marines, and can only sign a minor league contract under the international pool amount. Somebody's going to get him for $2.5 million. It's the exact same contract that Ohtani signed when Ohtani got his release to come from Japan, and he wound up with the Angels. Who is Sasaki? 30-15 as a starter with a 2.10 ERA. 100-mile-an-hour fastball. He throws 3 pitches that are just superb. 505 strikeouts and 394 innings in Japan in about a 4-year span. All signs point to the Dodgers as possibly being the one that has the inside track. Why? Their history with pitchers that they brought from the land of the rising sun, the fact that they got Ohtani to meet with them, the fact they got Yamamoto to meet with him, and the fact that Hideo Nomo and Chan-Ho Park and some of the other Pacific Rim pitchers pitched in L.A. and Cansales pitched this guy. However, that being said, the Padres have Yu Darvish. The Padres have A.J. Preller as a good working relationship with people in Japan. And the big money teams, the Mets on the East Coast and the Phillies, are also in the bidding. I think he's probably going to wind up with the Dodgers. People tell me, the baseball people that I network with, he's not a finished product yet, but there is so much upside to this 24-year-old pitcher. He's just dazzling. So that's story one. Sasaki, Dodgers, might it happen? We don't know when the window to negotiate is going to open, but the Dodgers have already been there to scout him, as have the Padres, as have the Mets, as have the Phillies. Second item is Shohei Ohtani. The surgery is complete. Now the Dodgers have confirmed Ohtani will not pitch probably in the first half of next season. Why? Because he's going to spend the next 4 weeks as he begins his long rehab, 4 weeks in a sling. then 4 weeks with limited range of motion exercises, then 4 to 6 weeks of weight training work to strengthen the injured left shoulder, his non-pitching shoulder. It's going to be 12 weeks, probably 3 months, before he's going to be able to do any true baseball-related exercises. That's swinging bats. That's obviously soft toss. So he's not going to pitch at all. They do think he'll be ready on opening day. Conditioning is going to be an issue, though. He cannot run. They're not going to allow him to run for 8 to 10 weeks because of the jarring that would take place while he's running.
Interesting.
After the torn labrum surgery. So he's going to be behind the curve just a little bit. And then the third item with the Dodgers has to do, aside from Sasaki and Otani's rehab, has to do with what are they going to do with these pitchers who are unsigned free agents. Kershaw has opted out. Buehler was not offered the qualifying offer, so he is a street free agent. You could say, well, Buehler was 1-6, but Buehler threw 13 straight shutout innings at the end of postseason. That's one of the intangible reasons they won the World Series. So the Dodgers have those guys. The Dodgers have got Teoscar Hernandez that they got to deal with, and he's getting offers from a bunch of different people already. So the Dodgers are a little bit, even though they got the World Series rings ordered, the Dodgers are a little bit in flux. So, John, the Dodgers are making all the news on the field in October, and now they're kind of grabbing all the news in the month of November in this news cycle in Major League Baseball. An opinion.
The rich get richer is what it's looking like is going to happen. Dodger fan is convinced that Sasaki is coming to LA. Down on you, Padre fans, you're not going to get him. I love the whole idea of this internationalization of the sport, where they're bringing players in from all over the world. And we used to think of Japan as like a AAA level, but they're like legit. And there's a lot of great players. It's just weird how it's so hard for them to qualify to be able to be a free agent to come here. So hopefully the Padres are in on it. And at that price, I can imagine every team in Major League Baseball should be in on this guy.
Yeah, and he'll have his choice as to where he wants to go. But based on the Dodgers' ability to deal with pitchers in Japan and be very successful, and the fact they got Otani making phone calls and they got Yamamoto, who's back there now, you'd tend to think Dodger baseball for sure.
You know, it's the obvious choice for him. I mean, if he wants to come here, play on a winner, play on a team that's going to be friendly to his culture, have friends on the team. I mean, it sets up nicely, but San Diego ain't too bad as a second option.
I concur with you, but Dodgers, we got a ring here. Come be part of the next team that might go get a ring. So we'll see where this goes once this window opens. So we go from those baseball stories. You get a comment you want to make on Otani in the rehab?
I just have a question on Otani. Let's assume he's all the way healthy. Are the Dodgers going to go with a 5 or a 6-man rotation at that point? Because I know you said they're going to kick off the season with a 6-man rotation.
I think they stay in a 6-man rotation because they have to handle him as a pitcher with kid gloves. And maybe they go back to Yamamoto in a 6-day rotation because that's where he excelled in Japan, whereas he came here last year. And I don't know if they made a mistake, but they let him go into the regular rotation of 4 and 5 days rest, and then he injured the shoulder and was out 3 months. The Dodgers have already said 6-man rotation next season, 13-man pitching staff.
Is Flaherty coming back?
No risk.
He's an LA guy.
He's a street free agent, using your terms, right?
Exactly. But I think he's come home, and he pitched really well, and they'll have to offer him bucks. There's no doubt about that. Again, they got some uncertainty with some of these pitchers. You know, I should have mentioned Flaherty in the same sentence with Buehler, and then the same sentence with Kershaw, and then they got Teoscar Hernandez that they got to deal with. So there's a lot of things in flux as it relates to the Dodgers right now. Now, baseball notes, we got other teams.
こちらのシーズン終了後の移籍市場の動き、非常にワクワクしますね。特に佐々木選手が日本から MLB に挑戦することが決まり、多くのファンが彼の移籍先に注目していることでしょう。こちらのシーズン終了後の移籍市場の動き、期待が膨らむばかりですね。特に日本の若きエース、佐々木選手がついに MLB に挑戦することが発表され、ファンの間で話題となっています。佐々木選手は時速100マイルの速球と 素晴らしいコントロールを兼ね備えた投手で、彼の投球はすでに日本でも非常に評価されています。これから MLB でどのチームが彼を迎え入れるか、そして彼がどのように活躍するのか、注目が集まるところです。特にドジャースは過去にも多くの日本人選手を迎え入れ、成功を収めてきた経歴があります。彼の入団が実現すれば、ドジャースにとって大きな強化となることでしょう。他にも、パドレスやメッツ、フィリーズといったチームが彼の獲得に興味を示していますが、果たして、どのチームが彼の未来のホームとなるのか、ファンは固唾を飲んで見守っています。さらに、翔平・大谷選手の復帰についても注目が集まっています。大谷選手は、怪我により今シーズンの終盤を棒に振りましたが、すでにリハビリが始まっており、来季に向けて準備が進んでいます。彼が再び投打の両面で活躍する日を待ち望んでいるファンも多いでしょう。リハビリ期間中は慎重なステップが必要ですが、大谷選手が完全復帰し、再び MLB のフィールドで躍動する姿を目にするのが待ちきれません。また、彼がドジャースでどのような役割を果たすのか、来シーズンも期待が高まります。ドジャースには、ワールドシリーズでの勝利を祝う一方で、いくつかの難しい決断が迫られています。クレイトン・カーショー選手やフラッハティ選手といった主力投手たちがフリーエージェント市場に出ることが発表され、特に先発ローテーションには不確定要素が多く残っています。カーショー選手は長年にわたってドジャースに貢献してきた選手であり、彼の去就がチームにとって大きな影響を与えるのは間違いありません。また、フラハティ選手も他のチームから注目を集めており、ドジャースがどのようにしてこれらの選手たちを補完し、来シーズンの戦力を維持するかが鍵となるでしょう。ファンとしては、こうした選手たちの今後の動向に注目し、ドジャースがどのようにして新たなシーズンに備えるのかを見守りたいですね。また、ドジャースは6人ローテーションの戦略も検討しているようです。これは特に投手の健康管理や負担軽減に役立つ方法であり、選手たちがシーズンを通じて安定したパフォーマンスを維持するための工夫といえます。山本選手が日本で成功した6人ローテーションの経験を生かし、MLB のシーズンでもその実力を最大限に発揮するための重要な一手です。ドジャースがこうした柔軟な戦略を取り入れることで、来季の戦いがさらに面白くなることでしょう。ファンとしても、シーズンを通じて投手陣が健康で安定している様子を見守るのは安心感がありますね。他にも MLB の移籍市場には多くの注目選手が登場しています。例えば、ボストンレッドソックスのタイラー・オニールや、ミルウォーキー・ブルワーズのウィリー・アダメス、そしてニューヨーク・ヤンキースのグレイバー・トーレスなど、各チームの主力として活躍してきた選手たちが、新たな環境での挑戦を模索しています。彼らがどのチームで新たなシーズンを迎えるか、そしてその実力をどこまで発揮できるか、これからの動向に目が離せません。特にオニール選手のような強打者は、ボストンレッドソックスにとって理想的なフィットかもしれませんし、トーレス選手もヤンキースを離れて新たな環境で新たな可能性を見出すかもしれません。こうした各選手の移籍によって、来シーズンの MLB の勢力図がどのように変わるか、今後の展開が非常に楽しみですね。そして、MLB 全体で見ても、今季のオフシーズンには多くの戦略的な動きが予想されます。新しい才能が続々と加わり、さらに国際的な選手が MLB に挑戦することで、リーグ全体が どのように発展していくのかが期待されます。特に日本や韓国からの優秀な選手たちが続々と MLB に参加しており、アジア出身の選手たちがどのようにアメリカでのプレーに順応し活躍するかが興味深いポイントです。MLB の各チームが新しい戦力を獲得し、シーズンに備えてどのような準備を進めているか、その一挙一動が注目されます。こうした国際的な才能が集結することで、MLB の試合がさらに多様性と興奮をもたらしてくれるでしょう。皆さんは次のシーズンに向けてどのチームや選手に注目していますか？特に期待している選手や見逃せないポイントがあれば、ぜひコメント欄で教えてください。この動画が気に入っていただけたら、いいねとチャンネル登録もお忘れなく、私たちと一緒に MLB の最新情報や選手たちの活躍を楽しみましょう。シーズンのドラマチックな展開を共に見守りながら、MLB ファンとしてこのワクワクをさらに盛り上げていきましょう。